From Software have created some of the most iconic games to date. From their Dark Souls series to their Game of the Year winners, Sekiro and Elden Ring, these guys just can't seem to miss when it comes to making bangers. And I mean that because their Shadow of the Erdtree DLC won Game of the Year, like what the frick? And so when a team like that announces their co-op focused roguelike spin-off on the take of Elden Ring's combat and all the things that come with that, there's no way they could mess that up, right? When Elden Ring Nightreign released, it was met with mixed to positive reviews. While there were many, including myself, that loved the co-op nature and the fast-paced nature of this new roguelite that came out, there were many others that called out the fact that this game did not have balancing for solos, they didn't even have a duo option, and the amount of content delivered on release just wasn't enough to keep people around for the long haul. But with Nightreign being about a year out since its release, and multiple updates addressing these issues I just mentioned, I think right now is the best time to answer the question of whether or not Nightreign is a game that's worth playing in 2026. And we're going to answer the most important question of all, is this game fun? Because we all know if a game ain't fun, it ain't worth buying.
Yeah, no shit, Sherlock.
And while I can talk about how I think the design of this game is fantastic, from the combat to the Nightfarers to the way that the end game works, I think I'll just show you instead. If you've gotten this far in the video and you're enjoying this content, please like and subscribe. It really does help the channel. Now let's get back to it. As you can tell, this game looks and feels extremely fun to play, and I gotta just let you guys know, this is one of the most fun Souls-like games that I've played in a good while. And while it might not have the story or the expansive world that we can explore and kind of just get lost in, it makes up for it with fast-paced combat, with Nightfarers that don't just change your stats, they change the entire flow of your run from how you fight to how you support your team. And on top of that, they have different abilities and special attacks that essentially change the way that you approach every different situation and boss encounter. For example, if you're someone who likes to get into the nitty-gritty of the fight and just be trying to parry every single attack from an enemy, you should play as the Executor, because that guy can deflect every single attack, and not only are you not taking damage every single time you do a perfect parry, you're also building up your ability on your sword to unleash an attack that does a lot of damage. And on top of that, this guy is an artist.
It's so beautiful.
But let's say you're not into the nitty-gritty, getting in there and deflecting every single shot. You want to kind of take it easy, sit back, just take some shots, have a cold one, you know? If that sounds like you, then Iron Eye is your man. He specializes in staying just outside danger, keeping the boss marked, and supporting the team while still pumping out tons of damage. And so as you can tell with these two different Nightfarers, the play styles are very different from each other. One is up close and really into the nitty gritty, whereas the other one is kind of playing at a distance. And this is the same thing throughout all the different Nightfarers that you might choose. And so the first decision that you're ever going to make once you get into Nightreign is choosing which Nightfarer you're going to play as. And in no way are you locked into this one Nightfarer. If one of them's not working out for you, or you're feeling like playing a different type of game, then that means you just change Nightfarers, and all of a sudden you've got a brand new experience, because the play style that a specific Nightfarer that you once played is not going to be the same as the one you're playing now. And this leads into a lot of replay value when it comes to learning a new character and learning a new playstyle, and it just makes for a really fun time. And so now that you've chosen your Nightfarer, you're now going to want to start getting into the game and actually playing it, right? So what does that core structure look like? Well, in short, essentially what you do at the very beginning of your match, before you even get into a match, is you have to choose a boss. This is your Night Lord boss that you're going to be trying to beat at the end of your run. And I gotta say, these bosses are challenging, but they're also so freaking cool. And so now that you've chosen your target that you're trying to freaking take out, you then drop into this map called Limveld. From here, you drop in with 1 or 2 other players, depending on what you want to do. You could even drop in solo if you did want to.
Don't mess with me, dog. I'm crazy.
And from here, you just start running around like a maniac, taking out bases, taking out enemies, fighting bosses left and right, and all the while, a circle is closing in on you, Fortnite Battle Royale style, indicating that the day is ending. And what might be happening once that day ends?
I don't know.
Well, a freaking boss appears and beats the shit out of you, or you succeed and push back the night once again to repeat the process of the first day. And this is what you do every round, essentially, until you get to the 3rd night. And the 3rd night is where you fight the Night Lord, or the target that you chose at the beginning, right before you even got into this match. And this is when you find out whether or not all the decisions you made leading up to this final boss fight really made the difference between winning or losing. And so as I mentioned before, the bosses in this game are no joke, especially the ones that you chose at the beginning of your match to then fight at the end of your round. Those guys are next level, like super good at handling whatever you decide to throw at them. So there might be some of you guys being scared right now. You're like, oh shit, I'm gonna die so much, this isn't gonna be good. This is a co-op game, so if you're not playing solos, you have the opportunity to actually get up your teammate by hitting the shit out of them until this bar around them disappears and then they get up. And I don't know why Elden Ring Nightreign decided to do this. It's just such a weird way to go about getting up your teammates, but it does make for some interesting combat scenarios because you'll be trying to dodge the boss while hitting your teammate and all that shit going down. And so it just makes for a really funny, crazy experience overall. And FromSoft, you know, I gotta, you know, hats off to you for making this the most convoluted way of getting up your teammates. And I will say, there will be lots of times that you will lose that final fight. While you might be crying that you lost to that boss, you do end up walking away with some relics and some different currency that you can use to buy skins and whatnot, but the relics are the important part because that's part of the roguelite experience that they built here. You're able to kind of upgrade your character in a way where they can start with a fire armament on their first weapon. They can have different ability cooldowns kind of like way lessened because you have a relic equipped to your character. And so that's the way that Elden Ring Nightreign twists it on its head and makes it so that you go into your next round more powerful, more ready to take on the next boss. And so it just is this really fun process of learning what your character needs in order to have the most efficient situation going down. And I just think that this is a really fun build system. And with the fact that all the Nightfarers have their own builds, and then on top of that, you're throwing relics on there that kind of help enhance that build that you might want to run, it just makes for a really good buildcraft experience. And overall gameplay experience wise, it changes the game. It has lasting effects on what you're doing. And so I will say the character building is here. And the last question I wanted to answer in this video is, how is the content doing? Is there enough to keep me around for a long period of time? And the short answer is there is more content than was available at launch. And that's a huge positive for this game because they added a DLC, which you can get with the $60 version of this game if you're just buying it outright, or it's a $15 purchase. And that added 2 new Nightfarers for you to get your hands on and kind of just play around with new abilities and new things to be able to do. And on top of that, it also added new bosses and new shifting earth variants. And what those are essentially variations on the currently existing map. So there will be a swamp or a volcano or even like like a new city that essentially pops up in the middle of the map that you can explore and go through and find new secrets and stuff like that. And these are great additions given the fact that people were complaining at the amount of content when this game first came out, and now it has more content than it had when it first launched. And so now we've come to the point in the video where you decide for yourself whether or not Elden Ring Nightreign is a game for you. And I gotta say, if you're a fan of FromSoft games or you're a fan of Elden Ring, then you'll freaking love this game. It's just a little cherry on top to what we already got from Elden Ring and Elden Ring Shadow of the Erdtree, and it just adds on in such a different way because it's a roguelite experience. It's not meant to be a 10 out of 10 masterpiece, life-changing experience, but it's just meant to add on to the things that we already love, and I just think that that's the perfect place for this game. So I hope you'll drop into Limveld with me and take over the night. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.